Welcome to Expert Profiles Atlanta, where Atlanta's influencers and innovators share strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving success in business and life. Here's your host, best-selling author and Atlanta influencer, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Tom Nguyen. He is Mr. Technique, and he has an Atlanta-based web design and SEO firm. His motto is less clients, more attention. Welcome to the show, Tom Nguyen.
Glad to be here, Neil. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about Mr. Technique and what kind of clients that you help there.
All right, Mr. Technique, as you just said, is an Atlanta-based web design SEO business. We recently just had to pull the plug on social media marketing because it was just too much. We just wanted to specialize in website design development and SEO, local SEO mainly. But our clientele is established small business owners in the Atlanta area. By established, I mean businesses that are willing to invest in their online marketing. So businesses that are using website makers like Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, those people wouldn't be our ideal clientele.
Excellent. Yeah, it's very important to have those people that understand that they have to spend money on their marketing. Things have certainly come a long way over the last 20, 30 years with the invention of the internet, and the yellow pages has kind of gone bye-bye, and the word of mouth marketing, although it's still very much something that brings in business, most people do their first search from the internet, so it's extremely important for businesses to get online and be found online. So what major problems are you seeing with these local businesses right now?
Major problems. Well, every business or every prospective client that comes to us, they need, obviously they need to establish a web presence. So that's where our web design development skills come into play. And once their website is completed, they need to drive some visits to it so they can get leads, which turns into business.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about web design first. Obviously, when somebody does find your site and they land on your site, whether it's through word of mouth or from an online search, what's important for them to see, and what are the main things that need to be included in a website?
What are the main things? Well, both web design and SEO are driven by content. Mm-hmm. So by content, I mean they've got to be able to talk about their business. So if you're a dentist and you don't tell me anything about your trade, then we can't help you. We're not dentists. I mean, we can do research, and we can help make it easier by providing some boilerplate content or template content. But really, we help small businesses, and that business has got to represent the business owner. And if you don't have content, you don't have a website, you don't have an SEO campaign SEO campaign.
So how do you get that content from a business owner? How do you get them to tell that story that's going to engage people?
We call them. Some clients are really old school, which we prefer to have fairly computer proficient clients. I mean, this is the 21st century, and most people are using a computer, if not, or a mobile phone or a tablet. So we'll either send an email asking for the content, or in extreme cases, we'll call them up. It's either me or a copywriter of mine calling them up, interviewing them about their business, and we take notes.
Mm-hmm. So how important is it for the content on the actual web page to be properly optimized? What does that mean?
Properly optimized. So you want, so part of the content has, I mean, part of generating leads with content is that it has to be somewhat pleasurable to read. So you're making websites for people, not, I mean, yeah, you're making websites for people, not machines, not the search engines. But you've got to be able to appear in the search engines for your desired keywords. So what goes into it? You've got to establish yourself as an authority in your field. And when you do that, you're going to have words in your industry that people will search for. So our job is to add those words throughout the content that they give us, not in a spam like way, but naturally.
So it's really natural conversation. If somebody was having a conversation about, say, a plumber in Atlanta, they're not necessarily going to be say, I need a plumber in Atlanta. Do you know a plumber in Atlanta that you could recommend to me? You know, they speak more naturally, and Google knows that now, and they do the results based on that. Is that right?
Absolutely. So you don't have to sit there and mention the same keyword over and over again. You can mention synonyms or variations of it. Like you said, Google, and, well, I guess other search engines, they're getting smarter.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, the words on the page have a big difference, but what else? Because websites and the design have come a long way in the past 5-10 years from, what they used to be. What really makes one website stand out from another?
So you definitely have words. I mean, words is a big factor into it, but if you can, you should have images as well. And your images, most people don't know outside of the website development and SEO industry is that you need to have your alt text. You have something called alt text on images, and that allows you to describe the image. And you don't see this text unless you're looking in the source code of a website. But it's important to be very descriptive of those images in order for your content to be optimized. So in addition to images, you can have video as well. So you could embed the video from YouTube or another third-party website like Dailymotion, Vimeo. But websites are becoming more, interactive these days. So if you have a combination of video, images, and text, it just makes a page look better for the humans, and also for the search engines.
So let's talk about the search engines for a minute, because there's one thing to have a website that looks good and maybe is interactive, which is great if somebody finds it. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't have all those little things, like you were talking about, the alt text and the images telling Google exactly what this website and this picture is about, then it's not going to get found. So how do you have that balance between the web design and the SEO?
Well, website only has to look good enough or professional enough. I'm not sure if when you're browsing the internet, like for instance, you go to Facebook, and Facebook is professional looking enough, but the main reason you go there is to get information. Mm-hmm. Am I right, Neil?
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So whatever site you're going to, Home Depot, or you're going to shop, I mean, you're not paying attention to how beautiful the site is. You look at it, you see that it's professional, so if it's professional enough, then you're just, I mean, you don't really go through these steps in your head consciously. It's like it's unconscious. If it looks professional enough, you're gonna trust the content. Now, if you see like some gaudy looking website that looks like it was made by a third grader, then sure, you're probably not gonna purchase anything on it. But
right. So subconsciously, there's an initial reaction when somebody gets to a site that says, yes, I want to do business with this company, or no, this company doesn't keep up with their image, so I don't really want to do business with them.
Correct. And also another factor into buyers or visitors want to do business with the small businesses online is the structure of the content. If it's not flowing or if it's not well structured, they're not going to be able to navigate around the website. And if they can't navigate and find what they're looking for, they're going to leave.
So let's talk about the SEO part. Obviously, web design is very important. You want to share that you keep up with your business. It means it's important to you. But obviously, getting found is the biggest problem that most businesses have. How does SEO help?
SEO helps bring traffic to the website. There's not really that much to it. I mean, in terms of what it does, everybody, half of our business is SEO, and SEO and website design development, they go together like burgers and fries.
So what really makes a difference in SEO? What are the things that a local business should be doing?
A local business should be setting up the citations throughout the internet.
What is a citation?
A citation is a mention of your business, your address, your phone number, website address, maybe even email to a certain degree. So if you and these citations need to be consistent across the sites that they're displayed on. So citations can show up on local directories or review sites like Yelp or Kudzu, Google My Business. It definitely needs to be. You definitely need to have a Google My Business listing.
There's so many companies out there that haven't claimed their Google My Business listing. Do you help them do that?
Yeah, if they don't, then yeah, we help them. And then there's these other websites called aggregators that actually push information to Google and the other local directories like Yelp, Kudzu, maybe even Angie's List too. They're just kind of like the websites behind the scenes, and like an aggregator is a website like Newstar or Localese or Factual, maybe even I think Dun & Bradstreet might be considered an aggregator these days because they've pushed information to a few local directories that I've worked with.
And how important is it for a local business to get on the local map for their area?
It should be top priority because local results are now showing above just organic results. And when I say local results, I mean the results that show with the map and has their address and phone number on it.
And with the local map listings compared to the organic listings, compared to the pay-per-click listings, which gives the best results?
I think if you show all of them, they all have a synergistic effect. But honestly, I think the local one would generate. I actually think the local one generates the most traffic.
Excellent. So getting on the map is definitely a priority for any local business. So what would you say are some of the misconceptions, Tom, about SEO?
Misconceptions. A lot of folks seem to think that SEO is some type of witchcraft where you can just get to the top of Google instantly. It's not the case. It's a result of generating and editing several times just content about what you're trying to optimize for, and the other part is bringing attention to it. It's a long process depending on how competitive your industry is. For instance, like Atlanta web design, right now, I mean, Mr. Technique is somewhere in the top 5, maybe top 10. Sometimes we're number 1, depending on the area. But at one point we're number 1. But that's okay. This industry is very, very competitive, and plus, we can't take on all the business that comes to it.
That's right. And, it's important, obviously, that you're getting the custom and the traffic to your website. But there is, in a city like Atlanta, there is so much business. So many local businesses need your services of web design and SEO that there is definitely plenty to go around. But how long does it take if a company hasn't really thought about SEO before, and they're understanding now that it's something that they need to do in order to get continual business, that phone ringing or people coming into their business? How long does it take to establish a presence on the first page of Google?
It depends on the keyword that you're trying to rank for. For instance, like us, we had for Mr. Technique, we couldn't just aim for Atlanta web design to start with, because that was a highly competitive term. So it started off with like Atlanta freelance web designer when it was just me. And that generated like a lead per month. And then after that, after the site was optimized for that, I started to optimize it for. Then I went for Atlanta web design, and it took me somewhere around 3 or 4 years to get to the very top of it. So it's not a quick process. And so the more competitive the keyword, the longer it's going to take. So usually, like I'll bring results within 6 months. Actually, probably say quicker than that. For instance, like one of our clients, Treat Your Feet, just opened a new location in Buckhead. Actually, it's been 2 years. When I say just opened, it's been 2 years. So that's not just opening. Mm-hmm. As soon as they opened, I was able to get them pretty close to the top for, say, like Atlanta foot massage, Atlanta body massage on Google, because they already had an established location, and I'd already brought some traffic to it via social media marketing.
Right.
So in their case, they didn't have to wait. They didn't have to wait very long. That was probably my case for almost instantly. But they already had an established reputation. But for a brand new company that has no online presence, to sit there and to get them to beat the other established businesses, it's going to take more than just a month or two, maybe 6 months, a year, maybe a few years.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely in something like web design or SEO in a big city like Atlanta, you do have to put some time into getting the results that you want. But most local businesses aren't competing at that level, and it should be a little bit faster. But tell me, what kind of process do you take? I think you kind of touched on it maybe with some of those longer tail, less frequently searched terms. If you can start to rank for some of them and get found, what does Google do from there? How does it reward you?
It doesn't really reward you. You're just optimized for it, and I don't really have much to say about that. There's no other benefit
But is it easier to get traffic from multiple longer tail keywords with less searches rather than going after the big one with maybe?
Yeah, I would say to start out with, you should go for the longer tail keywords to start generating traffic, and then you can build for the more, I wouldn't say the more general term. Like from what sometimes I see that Mr. Technique ranks for just the term web design, depending on the area, because searches become so because local search has become such a big factor. And same thing for my clients, like Treat Your Feet. Maybe even I have, to a smaller degree, I have a plastic surgeon client that ranks for the surgeries that he provides in his area. Sometimes the city name isn't needed in there, so a more general term can be used.
Okay, so give me an example of what you've been able to do for your clients. You've mentioned a couple of them, but can you give us a story of, how somebody came to you, what kind of position they were in, and how you were able to help them get traffic and drive business?
Sure. I actually, so in 2011, a client came to me. He was referred to me by another client. He was a dentist. The name of his business is Atlanta Prosthodontics, and he had a website designed for him, and he wasn't getting any business through it, and he actually had it shut down. So he had asked me to see what I could do for it, and I had applied the principles that I was talking about by incorporating keywords in his copy, but I also had to get feedback from him. That was a pretty important part to in the SEO campaign. So by getting content from him in the form of text and video and photos, before and after photos, I was able to get his business to show up for his dental procedures in let's say about 6 months or so.
Excellent. Well, that's certainly an investment. That's the way I like to look at it, is definitely an investment into your business, as opposed to, pay-per-click, which is, yes, you're going to get immediate results with pay-per-click, but once you stop paying for advertising, you stop getting the business. But with SEO, you are investing for the long term to show up on those pages of Google that gets constant traffic.
Well, Google looks for, in the organic results, they look for informative content. So if you're not going to be informative on your site and you just want to sell the whole time, if it's a competitive industry, that's not going to happen. So you have to be able to provide some information.
So what kind of fears do you see a lot of these local business owners have about getting involved with SEO?
What kind of fears? I'm not sure if I'm following you there.
Like, do they fear that it's not going to work? Do they fear that it's going to cost too much money? Do they fear that it's going to take too much time?
Yeah, some fear that it may not work, but if they read our online reviews, which many of our leads do, or many of our clients have done, they do their research. And I think you were touching up earlier about how word of mouth used to be important. Well, what's replaced word of mouth is online reviews. So people who read online reviews trust them almost as much as word of mouth. So it's important to part of SEO too. Local SEO is to build your online reputation, which means to get reviews from your customers or clients, so they know, so you can make them feel confident in doing business with you.
And how important is the social media aspect for a local business?
For a local business, I know for us, maybe it's not that important, but we're still active on it anyways. It depends on the business. If it's something like a restaurant, then you probably should be active on it. As if you're a plastic surgeon, I actually managed to get Image Cosmetic Center, which is my plastic surgeon client. I was able to get him to the top of Google for his procedures that he offers with very little social media marketing. So it just depends on the industry on how important social media is.
Yeah, so basically the SEO is really the backbone of being found on the internet.
Absolutely.
So if somebody is looking for a company to handle their SEO or their web design, what kind of things should they be looking for when they go to a website, and what questions should they be asking somebody that answers them?
So are you talking about a prospective client?
Yes.
Okay, so if they're going to get a website designed for them or developed for them, they need to make sure that they're going to own the website. So we don't own the website that we design for our clients. We give them, if they want, we give them files, the database. They have access to their hosting account. We provide web hosting, which is one of the services too, to a smaller degree than web design and SEO. But we've had cases where we've inherited a client, and the previous developer, they didn't give them access to their website. They would hold it ransom, so the client would stay with them. And then same thing with the SEO. Like we had acquired the client, and in which the previous developer SEO company would not give their website up. And then on top of that, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Google console, Google Webmaster Tools, but when they gave me access, the previous SEO development company, they disavowed all of the link building that they did for them. Tried to anyways. For some reason they thought I wasn't going to see it, and I questioned them about it, and they didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not very good. That doesn't really lead to good business. You need to have somebody that you can trust, that's for sure. Even if things aren't going well, you need to know that you're going to be able to leave on good terms with the assets that you have paid for over time. Absolutely.
So if you do pay for a website from Mr. Technique, then we definitely we'll give it up if you want to leave and take it wherever. And we won't ask any questions about it. It's the freedom of, you're free to do business with whoever.
Exactly. Well, great stuff, Tom. We've been talking to Tom Nguyen, Mr. Technique. Tom, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you if they need help with their web design or SEO?
I would say just go to our website, mrtechnique.com. That's mrtechnique.com. Or you can do a search on Google for Atlanta Web Design. You'll find us on the first page somewhere.
Excellent. Well, Tom, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. Thank you very much for being my guest on Expert Profiles Atlanta.
Thanks for having me, Neil.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share. And we'll see you next time on the show.
Thank you for listening to Expert Profiles Atlanta with Neil Howe. To learn more about the resources in the show or to listen to past episodes, visit expertprofilesatlanta.com.